Am I the a-hole for leaving my niece an inheritance but not my nephew? Original post. I was diagnosed with a terminal illness a few months ago. It's not a matter of if, but when. And the best estimate is that I have in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 years. I'm dealing with it. I've had a good life and no regrets. Part of dealing with it is getting my affairs in order before I leave the stage. My sister has 2 children, 13-year-old female and 5-year-old male. The 13-year-old is from her previous relationship, the 5-year-old from her current husband. My niece's father skipped out on them, and my sister had a rough time of it, so I helped them out early on. Her husband is well off, so they're set now. But it's become very obvious to me over the years that he wishes my niece weren't in their lives. They don't exactly neglect her, but she's left out of a lot, and it's very obvious, even to our parents, that my nephew is heavily favored. I've talked to my sister about it at various points, but she's in denial, and I don't think would ever have the courage to stand up to her husband. I've tried to make it up to my niece in quiet ways, but I know it still hurts and I worry about her. I made some very fortunate business moves early on, and I'm now sitting on a large chunk of change and a retirement fund that I will not live to use. My sister has made no plans for my niece's college or anything else, but the girl is incredibly smart and hardworking in school, and she deserves a chance to make the most of herself. It's my intention to have everything put in trust for her after my death, managed by my executor until she's 25 so that her parents can't touch it. She can have money for school and some time to mature before being fully in control. My nephew already has a trust fund from his father, so he doesn't need the money. Ironically, this would put her in a better financial position than the rest of the family. But I think that's justice at this point, considering how much she's put up with and missed out on. I sat down with my parents and sister to lay out my plans and end-of-life wishes, and my sister is deeply offended that I'm excluding her and my nephew. She thinks I should leave the money to her to split between them or set up equal trusts for the kids. My father loathes brother-in-law and said he agrees with me not letting him or my sister near the trust. But I could leave my nephew something to save face. My mother is too distraught to have an opinion right now. Brother-in-law made a joke later about contesting the will, and my sister isn't speaking to me. I feel like I have more responsibility to look after my niece, since no one else is, while her brother will be okay. I love my nephew, too, though, and don't want him to feel bad when he's older. I've planned to leave him some non-monetary items. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top of advices before reading the update. Not the a-hole, but I would see a lawyer. I've heard too many times where people mention leaving the other person a nominal amount of $5,000 so that they can't contest the will. Granted, my expertise is coming from Better Call Saul and a few other shows, but I'd still check. The laws governing disinheriting someone vary. It could be you have to explicitly name them and state you are disinheriting them, or you have to give a token amount to demonstrate they weren't accidentally forgotten. Same thing with introducing a do not contest clause. OP needs to check with their lawyer and be careful with the will if they want the money to go to the niece as desired. AITA and the trust too. OP actually needs to check with the lawyer at 100%, but in general disinheriting somebody means like your spouse or child. Now for the update. Update. Goodness, this blew up. First, thank you for the kind condolences. It's never an easy thing to face, but there are worse things that can happen, and I've already been more fortunate than most. As everyone has suggested, I do have a good lawyer and financial planner working on this, as well as a trusted friend in estate planning who will be my executor so that this remains as far outside of family politics as possible. I do like the idea, as someone suggested, of leaving enough for university tuition locked down for my nephew, just in case his father is being dishonest about the trust, so I will discuss that with the professionals. I'm also leaving him some items of actual value, which I suppose he could sell if he chose. That being said, he has a large family on his father's side to help him, whereas my niece has only me and my parents locally. Our other family lives abroad and would not be in a position to help. I do also like the idea of making recordings and letters for them to explain the situation. Some here were worried about brother-in-law treating my niece badly in the next few years because of the trust, and that's something I've been concerned about myself. My niece would prefer to live with her grandparents, and they would be happy to have her. But my sister has been an obstacle to that because of appearances. I've compiled evidence of emotional neglect over the years along with brother-in-law's shady behavior in general, and have discussed suing for custody with my parents in the event the situation worsens. I will work in some emergency funds for legal costs and such in the event that happens, or to allow my niece to emancipate at 16 if she chooses. That year or two gap might be difficult for her. But I think if it's clear that there are a lot of eyes on the situation and people in her corner, brother-in-law won't escalate too much, as it would draw unwanted attention to his other activities. Before I was diagnosed, I had floated the idea with my sister of paying to send her to a good boarding school so she could get a better quality education and maybe feel a little more comfortable away from home. That was received favorably at the time, so that may also be an option if my sister is still open to it. My parents and I do plan to sit down with my niece soon and discuss this with her. Make sure she's introduced to my executor and lawyer so she knows who she can reach out to if she needs help or advice, and prepare her for what's coming. I had planned a trip for all of us, sister and nephew included, back to my parents' home country for Lunar New Year, so I'm hoping that I'm still healthy enough by then to go, and that some of this can be worked out while my sister is away from brother-in-law's influence. Story 2. I, 23-year-old female, think I have found my 21-year-old male brother who ran away from home 9 years ago, and we'd never found him. And I don't know how to approach him in case it's not him. Plus update. Original post. Little background: my younger brother ran away from home when I was 14. Apparently my mother beat him very hard and much and told him to go away. And he's not her child anymore after he broke a new TV while playing football in the house. She says she didn't mean it and was just disciplining him, and said that in the heat of the moment. My brother was always one of those troublesome kids, carefree, little too much adventurous, but he had a good heart, and I loved him very much. At first, we thought he would just come back, then hours went by. We started to get worried. After a day with him coming back, he started to search for him. We asked around, called the cops, and filled a missing person report. We searched for him for a long time, and never found him. His disappearance tore my family apart. My dad blamed my mom, and they divorced shortly after my 15th birthday. The relationship between my grandparents and my mom deteriorated. Fast forward to about a month ago, I got a job as an intern at a logistic company in my country. I am as an assistant as a driver dispatcher. One of the drivers' name caught my attention a week ago. It was exactly the same as my brother's. The driver came back about 3 days ago from his shipment, and I have been kind of observing him, and he kind of looks like my brother. He resembles my dad. And I don't know if I am the one who's making these observations because I want to, or the resemblance is actually there. Now I have been sleepless for days wondering if I should approach him. What if it's not him? I am a shy person and not really good with people. Will he think I am crazy? Should I at least do some more homework before I approaching him? And what if it's him, should I tell my parents? Just to clarify, I was still at school when it happened and my dad was still at work. That's when we came home to find him gone. Now for the update. Update. Edit. For some reason, I can't be able to post the link to my previous post, but you might try checking my profile. So some of you wanted an update, and here it is. So I approached him a day after the post using some of the ways you suggested, and it went better than I had anticipated. He recognized me, even before I could tell him everything I had rehearsed. Apparently, he had looked me up online, and since I have little going on any social media except for lurking on Twitter and Reddit, he could hardly find anything concrete. So the only pictures of me she could find were from my best friend's Instagram post a couple of months ago, and he knew here, and we're kind of friends. I asked why he didn't reach out, and well, he said that he was afraid that I was mad at him, and will never forgive him for running away and leaving me. I was completely taken back by that, cause I never saw that way. I was a bit mad having me worried about him for years. But finding him alive and well is the completely dwarfs any anger, sad, disappointed I had. And those who may wonder what happened after he left home, it's not been easy for him. Being homeless, abusing drugs, dealing drugs, serving jail time a couple of times, depression, suicidal thoughts. But it all worked for him when an old family and charity program found him at 16 and helped him out. He didn't want to come back, but was forced to deal drugs. It's a common in my country where young kids, either orphans or abducted, are forced to sell drugs. Well, we have been hanging out a lot. There have been a lot of tears catching up to do. He asking about my dad because he had tried to look for him too, but he left the country a few years back with his new wife and kids. But he is not ready to face just yet. For my mom said he forgave her, but he just want to see her yet. I am glad I met my family. Thanks to all of you who gave me advice. Story 3. My friend brought in an unwanted house guest while I was on vacation. Now she doesn't want to leave, plus update. Original post. I'm owner of two-story house. I had gone to Hawaii last week for 1 week vacation with my wife. No one was at home, and it wasn't feasible for us to take dogs with us. So I gave my house keys to a good friend of mine and asked him to take care of my 2 dogs. This would involve feeding them, changing waters, and taking them to 1-hour walk daily. So his girlfriend was in town, and she had no place to stay. He lives in 1-bedroom condo with 2 other roommates. So he messaged me and asked me if I would allow his girlfriend to stay at my home for just 1 night. I agreed as it was just a matter of 1 night. Now yesterday I came back and found out his girlfriend has made dwelling in upper floor of my house. She has been staying here for 4 days. I asked her to leave immediately, but she and my friend are insisting to let her stay 1 more week because she is in search of a job in Los Angeles, California. I called police. They came and said this would be a civil matter and I have to go through eviction process. So I'm here with an unwanted stranger in upper floor, an asshole friend who broke promise and pissed off wife. What to do, guys? Can I change locks and throw her stuff out when she's away? Cut the electricity to upper floor? Now for the update. Good morning, guys. This is an uplifting update. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you guys for such an overwhelming response. I'm glad that there are people who would spend time from their busy life to help a random stranger on internet. So, after reading all of advices here and carefully discussing this matter with my cousin, we made a nasty plan. Yesterday night that squatter girl went outside to grab some dinner with her boyfriend. Me and my cousin carefully packed all of her stuffs in her 3-bag left in our front porch and locked ourselves in house. We also looked over her stuffs from window to make sure no one steals it. Our wait was over after 2 hours when girl returned. She figured it out and started pounding our door, yelling loudly to open door. You know, typical squatter drama. We told her to go screw off, and we won't open the door. So finally, after 30 minutes of constant drama, she dared to call cops. I was nervous how it would turn out. Cops arrived. Fortunately, these were different ones than previous night. First, they listened to her side. Then they came to me. I explicitly told them that I was sole owner of house, and never allowed girl to stay more than 1 night. She was not only trespassing, but also living in my house illegally without my permission. Bitch kept saying I had given permission to stay there indefinitely, and now kicking her out. Officer said she has any proof of that? She claimed she had some message, which accidentally got deleted. Now the best part, officer then asked her for an ID. She gave ID, officer verified it over radio. Suddenly, they told him this bitch had a failure to appear warrant for months old shoplifting case. Stupid lady was arrested immediately. His stuffs were sent to friend's house. Officer said that I don't need to worry and they'll take care of her. I do not require any further action. So finally, I'm relieved from that squatter and bitch is behind bars. What a justice boner. All's well that ends well. Story 4. Am I the a-hole for refusing my boyfriend's demand about me dancing at my cousin's wedding plus update? Original post. I, 24-year-old female, am from an Indian Bangladeshi background. My boyfriend, 26-year-old male, is white. Though he has grown up in a more conservative way, he is still very chill about culture and tries to blend into it. We have been together for 3 years. My cousin is getting married next week. Since it is a Desi wedding, you can understand the planning has been going on for like a year, and the functions last for days. So we have this function called Holid, where people apply a turmeric mask on the bride. And there is also singing and dancing. For context, you can Google Haldi. It is the same concept. My cousin's Holid function would be as big as her wedding, and each member is requested to perform a dance number. I have 3 dances ready for the function. One is my solo, another is a group dance, and the last one will be a couple's dance like they do in Bollywood. My boyfriend knows this, and he had no issue with it. He has been to Indian weddings before, so he knows the deal. His issue is with the couple's dance. He doesn't want me to perform it. The couple's dance isn't very intimate. It's just a boy paired up with another girl, and they do dance steps together. I was paired up with a relative of mine. He is my mom's cousin's son. To be honest, I still have no idea how we are related, but we are. I asked him what the problem is, and he told me he doesn't want me to dance with a random guy because it makes him look bad. And since I am committed to him, it would be like cheating. I am a bit confused. He didn't have a problem until now. The dance rehearsals have been going on for 2 months. He has been to every rehearsal. I told him fine, I will see what I can do because I do not want to upset him. Now he is saying I shouldn't be dancing at all. His reasons were that it seems inappropriate. No female member in his family ever danced at a wedding where they are the center of attention. And since I will be on the stage, people will be looking at me. He doesn't want that. I tried my best to explain it to him that this is a part of my culture. I am not going to drop my culture just because he is uncomfortable. We had a fight, and he is not talking to me. He most probably won't come to the wedding as well. Am I the a-hole? Because I never wanted to do things that would hurt him. I am just trying to understand his perspective. Edit. Just to remove confusion. My boyfriend was asked if he wants to be part in the couple's dance. He agreed first, but after 2 days he said the steps were complicated. So we replaced him. And the song was not very intimate either. It was not sensual like salsa or tweaking. This is the song and dance. Now for the update. Okay, so I am done with the wedding stuff. Me and my boyfriend haven't contacted each other during the ceremony. I just told him via message that I had already promised my cousin about the dance. I cannot step down because the functions are near. I told him I will talk to him once the wedding is done. I get no messages from him. I kept checking my phone. We have had fights and disputes, but we always text each other to let the other know we are fine. I was worried a lot. I called one of his friends and they told me he is fine and doesn't want to talk. So I thought he must be mad at me. I became busy with the dance and wedding. Yes, I did perform the dance. No, I do not have the recordings with me now. I will get the official video after a month. Also, in case anyone is asking, I won't upload it because I don't want to give out my identity along with my cousins. So after the dance, I messaged him, and he still didn't reply. Something was off. I went to message him on another social media account, in case I get him to talk to me. But there I saw he was tagged in a post by his friends that they are a strip club. There was a video of him getting a dance from a stripper and licking alcohol off her boobs. I was disgusted. There were multiple stories from them of my boyfriend taking lap dances and other nasty stuff. I tried to enjoy the rest of the ceremony, but I was upset. He finally called me the next morning, and we had a fight over the phone, which my cousins heard. Basically, he was angry with me and wanted to teach me a lesson to show that what I was doing is similar to him getting a dance from a stripper. I called him a sick man and broke up with him. I am fine. The wedding kept me distracted. I had fun and looked nice in my Gagra collie. My cousins were petty. Since they were still friends with my ex on social media, they were tagging him in every picture that includes me, especially the ones that are single pictures of mine. He blocked all of them. Thanks, Reddit, for making me see that he was not worth it. I will be fine, and I am going to stuff my face with the leftover wedding food for the rest of the week. That's all for today. If you are enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.